All right, welcome climbers. This is Nick Hoover from We Climb, You Climb. We have Mark here, of course, and we have a special guest, our dad, William Hoover. This is another set in our interview series, and we are really excited to have our dad on here. So let me just give you a quick intro before we get into the questions. So our dad has a long history of hard work starting before junior high school. He worked several jobs, had his own business, and started a family. And then he opened up his own insurance and financial services business, which he ran for nearly 40 years. This is where Mark and I got our first glimpses of what makes you successful in leadership and in life. So let's welcome our dad, Bill Hoover.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Mark, for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just jump into it. I think the first one is kind of a fun one. So what is your favorite quote?
So ironically enough, I have actually three quotes that I just absolutely love. So I'm going to give you two of them first, and then I'm going to give you my favorite quote. Of course, one of them is something I wrote about in the blog with We Climb, You Climb several months ago. When I was about 8 years old, I playing a little league. I was having a little bit difficulty at the bat, and I asked my coach, for some help, and he simply said these words to me. He goes, "Bill, you're not going to get a hit if you don't swing the bat." And I thought it was perfect then for Little League. And as I got older, I started to apply it to so many other things in life. And it's one of my favorite quotes. I have another great quote that I like, and that is, you can, if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, but if you teach a man how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So again, another favorite quote, and it just, if you really think about it, what it's saying is, it's pretty profound. Of course, my favorite quote of all time happens to be hanging in Nick's office right now, right behind him. And I've used this quote so many times throughout my life, and I had that particular poster with the great Albert Einstein sitting behind my desk for almost 40 years. And the quote simply is, "Great spirits have always encountered opposition from mediocre minds." So just think about that for a minute or two. And I've instilled this in both Nick and Mark. Think about that. Just think about what that's actually saying. That great spirits, great thoughts, great ideas have always encountered opposition from mediocre minds. That's my favorite quote of all time.
Well, it's one of my favorite quotes too, and it's one of the reasons why I have that up. And the other one is just a kind of, nostalgia, reminds me of your office where I spent a lot of time, but definitely a great quote. And I do actually say that quote pretty often, because whenever you're trying to create change, which is part of leadership, whenever you're trying to create change, it's, you meet opposition, and that's what I say. So awesome. You're up, Mark.
Okay. So, Dad, Nick and I have had the fortunate opportunity to witness you in various leadership roles in the community, through the Chamber of Commerce, in your own business, as a father and as a coach. And, out of all those things, to you as a leader that's a role model to us, what is the most important element of leadership to you?
Well, it's a great question, Mark. So I think the single most important element is confidence. I think, confidence, this is going to be a two-part, but confidence to me is the most important element. If you believe in yourself and you believe in what you're doing, and success will follow. But you got to have confidence, and things work out when you believe in what you do. The second part of that is goal setting, and it was confidence and goal setting. So I always felt that goal setting was crucially important to success. So those two elements, confidence and goal setting, is my answer to that question.
So And we're going to see a theme of that at some point when we talk about one of our books in our new book takeaway series. But so confidence and goal setting. So all right. So how did you improve in that area in your life or in business?
Well, again, I was fortunate. If you refer back to my blog, I mentioned that somebody had given me a book very early on, even before. I mean, I'm talking almost 50 years ago, gave me a book, and I sat down and read it, and it was called Think and Grow Rich. And so that started me on a journey of what we used to call self-help books, books that help you with your confidence, help you with your positive thinking. And so over the years, I helped achieve those goals of confidence and goal setting by reading, going to seminars, taking an interest in my craft. And the other thing that really helped me was setting goals. I learned early from going to productivity seminars how important goal setting was, how important it is to write down goals and goal setting and achieve those goals. So that's what helped me over the years.
Awesome. Over the years, I know with Nick and especially me firsthand, I know that, confidence, a leadership element that you talked about, an important leadership element to you is confidence is, that's something that you always instilled in me. You can do that. You can, like, nothing is not, there's nothing you can't do. It's all in your mind, and you just need the confidence. And there's so many things I've been able to do in life just because of that. Right. So how have you been able to apply that to maybe like your leadership with other people, like through the chamber, let's say, where you have multiple people, or in your business, even with your clients, to help them build confidence? So really my question is, how did you help people build confidence?
Well, it's a great question. And, it's also a complicated answer, but the simple answer is that, I instill confidence in the people that I spoke to by willing to take the chances that needed to be taken in order to accomplish a goal. Okay, if we set a goal and we had a plan, and again, I'll refer back to that blog I wrote and where I quoted, those that failed to plan to fail. So I always had a plan. So that's when I sat down with a client or a potential client or in a leadership role in organizations, community organizations, I had a plan. So it was all about planning.
Yeah, just to add to that, and thank you, is you've always challenged me, and I've seen you challenge other people, because you've understood the potential people have, and so you've given them the opportunity to take on things, whether or not they're going to fail or succeed, because the failure will help them. And sometimes you throttle back and let that happen. And so I thank you for building confidence in my life. So Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, you failed in a lot of things, Mark. So that's sorry, you set yourself up for that one. All right, Dad. Is there anything else that you want to share with the listeners?
Well, I would say the one thing I'd want to share, and I'm going to pontificate after that, but the one thing I want to share is that we should continually strive for self-improvement. Whatever you do in life, whether it's career, whether it's being a parent, whether it's being a neighbor or whatever else, just strive for self-improvement. See how you can improve yourself to be a better person. And I'm going to close up by saying, if this is my close, is about setting goals and how it's so important to set a goal and I want to use this example. I play a lot of golf, as you guys know, and now the readers, I mean, the listeners and readers know I play a lot of golf. And if I just went out and played golf and didn't keep score, I would just be playing. By setting a goal, and that's a scorecard. Scorecard has what your goal is on. It's called par. And so if you go out there and you have a goal, and that goal may be to shoot 1 over par, or may shoot par, or shoot 1 under par. Whatever it is, you have a goal. If you don't keep score, you're just playing. So in like business career or again, just family or whatever else, have goals. Your retirement, your future, whatever, have a goal. If you don't have a goal, you're just playing. You're just hitting the ball around. You're not focused, and you're not accomplishing anything. That's really what it is in a nutshell.
Yeah, I love that. I've been talking or using the word scoreboarding lately, or in the last couple of years, because, right. I mean, and if you have a goal, that's great. But if you're not keeping score, you actually don't know how well you're doing, or not well, right? You don't know.
There's no way to measure success.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's super important. Thanks for that. Mark, you want to close this out?
Yeah, so my closing is, Dad, thank you for the analogy with golf. And I'm going to close out is I'm going to challenge all of our listeners to use a scorecard. Write down some goals and grade yourself on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis of are you achieving those goals? Obviously, when you write goals out, right, they may be large. So you got to break them down into small milestones and make sure that there may be a daily and a weekly and a monthly milestone, and grade yourself. Have I done that? From a scale of 1 to 10, did I meet that? And if you and be honest with yourself. And if you grade yourself lower, then get after it the next week and try to do a little bit better and do small improvements. That's why we break them down into small steps. So thanks
Hey, Mark,
again. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
One last thing. Where is a great place where you can do that? At a We Climb, You Climb mastermind. We have a mastermind around goal setting and scoreboarding. So check it out. Find it on our website. We'll put a link here, and you can check that out.
So the old adage, ABC, always be closing, but your new adage is always be climbing. So
I like that. Look
all right, boys.
Thank
you very much, both you guys. Thank you a lot for having me on. I appreciate it. It's an honor. Really, it's an honor to be a guest, and with this successful program of We Climb, You Climb.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.